Greetings and welcome to ROLESTREAM. I'm Russell Kirkby and this is a very quick and dirty tutorial of D&D Beyond just to get your character set up and join a campaign. So I've got a couple of screens here and I'm going to share some of them with you and we're going to talk through it. I'm going to make a character, show you how to click dice, show you how to roll with advantage and disadvantage and all the basic stuff that you need to get started with D&D Beyond. If you want to play on ROLESTREAM. So let's get started. We're going to switch screens. First of all, over here, and now you can see my computer desktop window pretty much. There you go. What we are looking at right now is the campaign, The Burning Path. Now what I do, you're looking at the Dungeon Master screen of this campaign right now. And what I typically do is I get this copy link button here and I copy the link for this campaign. And then I'll come over and open a new tab and I'll paste that. Now what I would do is I would be sending you this link and you're going to copy it out of an email or some other form of communication. I'm going to send you that link and you paste it into your URL button field on your browser like so. You just paste it in there and it asks you how you want to join the campaign. Now if you're familiar with D&D Beyond, you're going to have a list of characters already. If you have a free account, you will have something like 6 characters available, 6 slots to make characters for free. In which case, if you've made some characters, you can choose one of those characters that you already have made, or you can create from pre-made characters, which is honestly not probably advisable for one of my campaigns. Otherwise, you're going to create a new character, bearing in mind that when you make a new character for Sidariel, there are some rules about that because Sidariel is a very specific world with certain things that are, there are some restrictions around class and race and so on, and you know, you're going to need to have a history and character concept and all of that stuff, which we have already discussed. So assuming we've already discussed all of that stuff and we're ready to go to make the actual character, this is how you do it. So this is the basic character builder that you're looking at now. Obviously you can select a name rather than making up a name. I'm just going to choose Duzat because, well, why the hell not? We will keep homebrew content because I have some homebrew magic items which you might end up using. You never know. We don't need Magic the Gathering. We currently don't need Eberron for what we're doing. We will use the Dragonlance content though because there are some things in there that I might throw at you. Could be useful, certain magic items and so on and so forth. You're not going to get a Dragonlance. Get that out of your head right now. Okay, so dice rolling is enabled. Optional features, we're going to turn those on because you never know, you might want them. Feats, multi-class requirements, yes. Show leveled scaled spells, yes. Encumbrance, use encumbrance, ignore coin weights. For now, yes. Ability score modifier display at the top because that makes it easier to see. And for you, I'm going to suggest that you start off with your character private because then other players can't look through your character sheet. If you are experienced at least. If you're not experienced, you might want to make it campaign only. Don't make it public unless you are streaming with me, which is there's a fair probability that you are. If you are streaming, you might want to make it public so that we can share your character sheet with viewers from time to time on the stream chat. So, but for now, we're going to go campaign only. All right, moving on to the next page, we're going to choose a race. For the sake of amusement value, we're going to make a goblin. Yes, we are. Choose a goblin. Alright, now this particular goblin doesn't have any racial trait features that we can add right now, but we've got all the basic things, and if you click these buttons they open up and you can see what they do, which is kind of useful. Alright, now, so that's fun. We can go to the goblins detail page if we want to read more about goblins, but we don't right now, so we're going to go back to the character builder. Alright, and we're going to go over to class. I'm going to choose a cleric. Today we're going to make a goblin cleric. Yep, and he's going to need some proficiency. Okay, so this particular goblin's going to have some religion, and he's going to have persuasion, and his divine domain, we're going to select divine domain. It's going to be trickery. Okay, cool. So we've got a trickery cleric, goblin. Now, we need to generate some stats, so we're going to use the point buy system in this particular campaign. The ability score increases because he's a goblin cleric. He's going to need wisdom. I'm going to give him +2 and +1 on his stats there because that's just makes sense to me. First thing we're going to do is add it to wisdom, and we're going to add the other one to wisdom too because fuck it, let's go for the hardcore badass goblin cleric. Yes, alright, cool. So now we need to do some modifying of business. Right, so wisdom, we're going to put that up as high as it goes. 18 points remaining. We want some charisma too for this cleric because he's a cunning bastard. He is, yes. Some intelligence is 12, that's not bad. Dexterity, we have 10. We'll put everything up to 10 first to see what we're left with. We're left with 1 point. What should we put that into? Let's lower his strength a little bit because, you know what, we don't want to lower it too much. We might lower his dex because he's a cleric. He can wear probably some heavier armor. The trickery cleric, so he might be stealthing around a bit. So, okay, let's just put it in dex for now. We'll drop the... Wait, what? No, we don't want any minuses in stats. That goes as far as it goes. We can put that up to 11. All right, good enough for me. I'm happy with that. We're doing this fast and quickly, so that's okay. Languages, choose some languages. Oh, we're going to just choose Goblin because he's a goblin. Background, we're going to go with, he's a charlatan. A charlatan, take your pick. Right, so as you can see, you get some extra stuff because he's a charlatan cleric. He gets deception and sleight of hand, disguise, kit, and forgery. He gets a couple of extra features which you can read about down here. Those are his suggested characteristics. You can mess around with those. Honestly, this stuff is all arbitrary and it doesn't really matter. It does not affect the game, but it's good for you to do it because you'll know a little thing or two about your character. It's a good start for creating some background. It gives you a place to begin. Now, when you're choosing equipment, you can choose equipment or gold, right? We're going to choose equipment, and we're missing a required proficiency to use a warhammer. What the? Well, let's go back and have a look. Where did we miss that? Where did we miss that? Proficiencies, choose 2. Oh, we don't have an option for such things there. And I'm not going to get them here either, I don't think, but maybe under here. No. Okay, so he's not going to have the proficiency for certain things. So we need to take the mace. We can't choose a warhammer. We're going to take the scale mail because, well, it's better overall. It doesn't give us any special sneaky abilities, but that's okay. We're just making a character for fun. To see how this goes. All right, any simple weapon. Let's choose a... Oh, I like the idea of a spear, I think. For Goblin, we're going to have a Priest's Pack. We're going to choose a reliquary as our holy symbol, and we're going to have 10 stoppered bottles filled with coloured liquid. Right, add the starting equipment. It adds it with 10 gold pieces in a pouch, I believe. Important note, if you see one of these green boxes on the right-hand side, click it because it turns up in your inventory as being used that way, and then it has mechanics attached to it. And that allows you to roll dice and stuff. So that's all done. Great, so view character sheet. Now you'll notice that we didn't see spells in that whole building character sheets business, which is perhaps a little confusing because normally you have to choose spells when you make a character. Well, you still have to choose spells, sadly. But before we do that, we're going to have a quick look at the sheet itself. As you can see, it has this particular sort of square layout, which makes sense on a desktop computer. If you're on a phone, it's going to be a bit different. But what you can do very quickly is if you want to roll a dice for something, if I ask you for a perception check, you're going to go to the ability list here, and you'll notice that it is in alphabetical order. So perception is P, so it starts here, perception P. Now this character's got +4. Now if you just click the modifier, you'll notice as I mouse over it, it lights up, or rather it darkens. Now if you click it, it throws a dice, and it pops up over there. If you want to see the record of all the dice that have been rolled in the game so far, you can click this little game log button here. Boof, there it is, boof. So you can now see all the dice that have been rolled in the campaign. Right to the bottom. Okay, so let's try another one. Arcana check, +1, rolls a d20. D20 is 6, +1 is a 7, right? And that is in the combat log. Cool, awesome. Now what if I say I want you to roll with advantage? Well, there's 2 ways you can do that. You can do an animal handling check with advantage by rolling it twice. and just taking the higher number. Okay, so that's advantage, but there is an even easier way of doing it, which, you know, you're going to like. Right click the number, and you get to choose advantage or disadvantage, right? And you can go everyone or self. So let's do self, let's do advantage, let's roll. We throw 2 dice together, and it tells us that the higher number is 23. Look at that, just like I bought one. Similarly, disadvantage works the same way. We're going to roll that to everyone, and we have a disadvantage. We roll a 5. Okay, so that's how you do advantage and disadvantage in D&D Beyond. All right, last, what were we going to do was spells. Okay, now, quick note before we do spells. As you can see, we've got a mace, a spear in our attacks. So we've got these tabs along here: attacks, spells, inventory, features and traits, description, notes, and extras. All right, so back to actions. We can see what our actions are, including any bonus actions and reactions that we might have. D&D Beyond just works them out and spits them out for you. And any specific things, like in this case, Fury of the Small is a special thing he's got. You've got little markers that you can check off for long and short rests and things. So keep an eye out for those little markers. All right, so you can break that down into attack actions, actions, bonus actions, reactions, other, limited use, right? So that's all under the actions tab. Spells. Now he's got Charm Person and Disguise Self, and we can assume that those come from his background and his class and or his race, depending on what the character is, because, you know, elves get racial cantrips if they're high elves, for example. All right, so manage spells. Boof, up comes this little box over here. We're going to look at that, and we're going to see that we have 0 out of 3 cantrips and 0 out of 5 prepared spells out of 16 known spells. So you can have 16 known spells. All right. Now, presumably these are, looks like more than 16 to me, but, you know, whatever. All right, those are the prepared ones. 2 of them are already prepared. All right, okay, so because he's a cleric and he's a trickster and he's a goblin, let's think about this. He's going to want Toll the Dead because it's cool. Thaumaturgy, because who doesn't want thaumaturgy for making cool voices and things at your bad guy enemies. And Command, because that's just fun if you're a goblin telling people what to do. Cure Wounds, because you're a cleric and someone's going to ask you to heal, right? That's always going to happen. Disguise Self, he's already got that, so that's cool. Healing Word, let's not get carried away with all that healing business. Inflict Wounds is more like it, because don't forget we're a goblin. And we've got 2 more spells to choose and 1 more cantrip. Okay, so we'll get Guidance. Oops. Guidance. All right, that's all his cantrips. We need 1 more proper spell. Proper spell. Guiding Bolt, because everybody takes Guiding Bolt. Cool. All right, so now you've got a spell save DC over here. This is the number that enemies have to roll over to save against your spells, right? So if you're casting a spell on somebody and they're trying to avoid it, then they have to make a saving throw. 14 is the number for this character. That is his spell save DC. His spell attack number is +6, which is based on his proficiency bonus, which is based on his level, and his stat that goes into his spell modifying stat, which in this case I think is wisdom because he's a cleric. Okay, so then the modifier is just +4. Okay, so those are your basic spell casting stats there. Of course, you can search for spells if you happen to have a million of them. And at any time you want to know what your spell does, you can simply click it and it opens the spell, just like I bought one right there. Cure Wounds, blah-de-blah. You can do this in the Manage Spells section too. You can click on them in here and they just pop open. And if you really, really want to, I think you can open them in other tabs as well. In any case, that's the basics. That's it, folks. That's pretty much how you make a character in D&D Beyond. I think we did that in 5 minutes. Last, I'm just going to mention these red boxes work very much the same way as those green boxes during the character creation stage. So if you turn them off, for example, if you watch the armor class right now, which is 16, that's based on the fact that he's got a shield and scale mail. If I unequip them, his armor class drops to 10, right? The shield gives him 2, scale mail gives him another 4. Okay, so keep in mind that if you don't have those checkboxes on, they will not apply to your character sheet. If you have a magic item, so let's just quickly add an item. We're going to add a, what is he using? A mace. So let's go mace +1, right? Let's see if we can find a mace +1. Oh, look, we can't. Where's the magic box? Magic box. Magic, here we go. And it's probably a +1 mace. So I probably just got the numbers wrong way around. Oh dear, it closed. Try again. +1 mace. Nope, that's not opening either. Okay. Common, proficient. Let's just type in mace. What do we get? It always closes. It always closes when I try to do that. Mace. Okay, there we go. +1 mace. All right, so add that. You know what? Just to make things really interesting, let's make it a mace of smiting, because this might give us an opportunity to show you another thing. So let's add that to his equipment. Boof, like actually equip it, so to speak. And we'll scroll down here. Oh, it's not there. Okay, that's okay. Let's, obviously does not require attunement, but let's get a ring. A ring of something. Something that requires attunement, folks. Can you think of something? Let's go. Ring. Ring of... Ring of mind shielding, because that's pretty cool. Alright, so it's got a ring of mind shielding now, and that's there. I'm going to equip it. Cool, and now it comes up here under attunement. You've got 3 attunement slots. You can have 3 attunable items at a time, and when you attune it, it pops up just like a bought one. Right there. Okay, so that, I think that's pretty much, that's the basics. That's D&D Beyond, basically. Last, I guess, but not least, you can have inspiration, and it just pops up there. You can have 1 inspiration at any given time. If you spend it, it's gone. It allows you to roll with advantage once with an attack roll or a saving throw or a skill check. Remember, your skill checks are here. They're in alphabetical order. These are your saving throws for avoiding stuff. Passives, which personally, you know, I should use them more. And of course, your attack rolls and stuff are going to come from the Actions tab, and you can click on the Attack tab if you want, but the All tab also works. And we're going to roll to hit with his Mace of Smiting, and that is a 9 to hit, which would hit a zombie because they have an 8 armor class, and then does damage to the zombie by pressing the second button. Right, do. Okay, if you happen to get a crit, you can right click on this and roll crit damage too. So there you go. I think we've covered a lot of stuff. All right, well, thank you for joining me. I am RKDM, Russell Kirkby, Dungeon Master, and this is my channel ROLESTREAM, and I appreciate very much that you've watched this far. So if you have, please do like and subscribe, because, you know, that's what you do, right? You like and subscribe YouTube channels and stuff, and we need those likes and subscribes. And yeah, over and out, really. Thank you very much. You have a great day, and roll 20s.